That's it. We've hauled anchor. We've done everything we can into the preparations. We're set as well as we can be. Goodbye Galapagos. 2,900 nautical miles and then Marquesas.
We are out of here. We are beeline to Marquesas. It's a gorgeous day out here, day 2, and we've got the big orange Spinnaker up. So a little earlier, wind was about 6-7 knots and off the quarter around 130 degrees, which is perfect for the Spinnaker, but was pretty slow. And now the wind has picked up to a nice 9 knots and we're howling along at 6.4.
Well, it's midday and we've just caught another fish. Well, we're going to let it sit there on the line for about 45 minutes because it's a big one. We've got a Spinnaker out and the winds are hitting 30 knots. It is about the limit of what we can do with the Spinnaker. As I said, it's a big Spinnaker. So we're just going to wait and see. The wind's just come down about 12 knots, so we've slowed down a bit. So see how it goes. But once again, Spinnaker out, fish out there. Hopefully the winds settle down and we can just reel the fish in about 45 minutes once it's tied itself out. There we go, so a small mahi-mahi.
Smaller mahi-mahi, yeah, that's what I reckon too. It's definitely yellowish.
We're being extra. How long have we had it out for? Being extra careful this time?
Over an hour now.
Over an hour. Fishy still has a bit of life still flicking out the tail every now and then. But once it's in, I want to finish it off quickly with some alcohol.
Speaking of killing fish with alcohol, Gigi, a pogo that's sitting the same way to Marquesas, the skipper sailing by himself, and he almost got a fish. Unfortunately got away, so what do? He drank the rum that was meant for the fish. What are you doing?
Can you bring it?
Yeah. There you go. What is that?
Yeah!
That's a mahi-mahi.
Yeah.
So that's the way to do it. The secret's patience.
Patience.
Yeah.
We've learned from our mistakes.
And now I'm going to try and heap of oil, sear it, and add some soy and sweet chili, and also some ginger there as well. Finishing touches will be lemon. There it is. Dinner's ready.
Perch of the ocean.
Yeah. So it's about maybe 2/3 of the fish, and the other third we'll have tomorrow with fish curry.
Looks delicious. An hour ago, I was still alive, roaming in the oceans. Right now it's on our plate.
Very sweet, very fresh.
For the first time ever in our trip, we're going to fly the Spinnaker at night. We have been hesitant to do so in the past because with only one person up during the watch, a few things could go wrong with the Spinnaker. But last night we had very light winds, anywhere between 6 and 10 knots, perfect Spinnaker territory. So tonight, again, it's dropped anywhere between 9 to 10 knots, again perfect for the Spinnaker. So this time we're going to fly it overnight. And we're just going to be highly conservative. If the wind picks up to over 11.5 to 12 knots, we're going to rouse people up and we're going to furl it back in.
Our frenemy, the big orange Spinnaker, is out again. We had it up last night, took it down again when the wind dropped too low. Now it's up again and we're hurning on 8 knots. Poor Aiden hates the Spinnaker though. Thinking back to that first afternoon of the Atlantic crossing. So he's downstairs where he doesn't have to look at it or think about it. But meanwhile we're enjoying it for now. It keeps us on our toes. It reminds me of, I used to horse ride a lot. There was a horse called Jindy who was very fast but very unpredictable. So that's how I feel with the Spinnaker up. Spinnaker and sunset. It's been a pretty good day. We've convinced Aiden that it will be okay to leave overnight again. Because yeah, we just keep an eye on the wind. We did furl in the Spinnaker earlier when the wind hit 12.5, 13 knots, because past that it becomes pretty hard to furl. But despite that, Aiden is still a little bit worried about the Spinnaker. That's okay. Keep an eye on it.
Just fantastic sailing. Winds around 9 to 10 knots from the back. We've got the Spinnaker out, just big rollers coming through, just ideal. Some people call this champagne sailing. I think it's even better than that. The thing is, Elle's not feeling crash hot, just a bit of seasickness. Well, the benefit of that is that she's cooked up some ginger tea and I get the remains of the boiling water, so I get an Earl Grey. My task for today is taking the garbage out. It's not as easy on a boat as at home. I have the tether on because you hear about too many accidents at the bow, especially with Spinnakers out.
Yeah, that would really suck going overboard by putting garbage out.
Yeah, that wouldn't look good.
Wouldn't be good.
How do you think? Phil, I was remembered for taking the garbage out and falling overboard. Yeah.
His final act. It's my favourite time of the day, my favourite spot. It feels just like camping, which Phil and I have done a lot of. So good brook. This feels like being tucked in your sleeping bag, and this is the corner of the tent. You just poke your head out for a little bit, take in the beautiful evening and the scenery, and then duck back down and snuggle up against the brook.
waves. There are cross waves from there, there, there,
It's a bit lumpy,
there.
confused.
And
Wind shift again.
There's Carla telling us the wind shifted again. It's going 20 degrees this way, that way, but heading around 90. Yeah. I'm happy. What's the wind direction now?
110.
These leads have pushed us further south to the point where we're in stronger winds, so we've had to fill in the Spinnaker. That may well be it for the Spinnaker for this trip. But the good news is, we're having Mexican tonight.
Tackle Thursdays.
When is Thursday?
It's Thursday. We're having tacos.
The good news is, even though we're off the Spinnaker and on wide sails, the increased wind means that we only lost about half a knot, so we're still well on track to get to Marquesas in good time.
Thank you.
We just grab a little bit of everything, very easy. Warning, super hot.
Delicious.
Well, the wind's back again to a southeasterly, which is fantastic. Just great sailing. Got the wind coming up the quarter, and it's doing about 17 knots, just perfect. We're making great turns over ground. I'm hand steering for the moment because I just want to make sure that it's not too stiff and there's not too much pressure on it, because there's a lot of pressure on the wheel. There's also a lot of pressure on the autopilot. That's the last thing we want, is to have it give in the end. It's after midnight on day 9 and the full moon's out. The wind's anywhere between 15 and 19 knots from the quarter, the port quarter, and we're sailing at around 7.5 knots. It's fantastic for the wind being so far back. We've got waves coming from the back of about 1 to 1.5 meters. It is quite exhilarating sailing.
Time to bring in the fish.
Yeah. It's pretty much there.
We're an hour and a quarter. Like over. Look at the blue.
Yeah.
Wow. Aiden, grab the alcohol. Lid off. Alcohol.
Alright, it's on board. Yeah, it's dead. It doesn't even do anything.
Look how beautiful the fish is. A little bit bad killing it, but
It was silver swell.
It'll be dinner and lunch.
And topping it off, we're going to be one with the dolphins. Fish for dinner. Mahi mahi.
And look, and full moon. Dolphins that way, full moon that way. Good morning. This is the sea state we have this morning. Sailors would describe this as lumpy seas, or the other way of describing it is confused seas. It's my favourite nautical term, as if the sea was a person and the waves are thoughts, and thoughts are just a bit all over the place. But good news is, even in the confusion, most of the waves are still coming from behind us, pushing us along. That's called a following sea for obvious reasons, and it means that, especially with both current and these nice surfing waves, the SOG, the speed over ground, is often bumping over 10. So boat speed about 7.5, and then SOG around 9 going up to 10. So yeah, looks like it'll be a good day. Tonight I feel fully me. That's the only way I know how to describe it. It's taken a dozen, or 2 weeks actually, nights of this on the water. And it really is, it's a feeling that comes from within me, but obviously it also helps the surroundings. So the ocean, I always feel very well with the ocean, with the creatures around us, the dynamics on the boat. So I'm so happy that it's worked out really well with Evan. It's a really good dynamic with him on board. But it is a pretty intense environment. You're stuck together all the time, so you have to be able to work together and have harmony. All looks good, just one broken cable tie to replace. Happy moment. This is going to be my third shower of the trip, and this is the way we've done showers in this bottle. Same across the Atlantic. So we're allowed 1.5 litres, otherwise Phil gets a bit worried about the water. And yeah, for camera I'm doing a whole shower. I'm going to wash my hair, which just feels disgusting, so I'm very much looking forward to this shower. All this precious stuff. So there you go, truth be told, you don't get that much for her off.
Our temperature gauge is saying it's 41.1 degrees in the water.
No, I don't believe it.
What's that in Fahrenheit? 115?
Something like that, ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check it out. I don't think so. It's warm, but I don't think it's 41 degrees.
Yeah, it's coming as a problem.
Yeah, I think it's probably that gauge. I'm gonna check with the other boats, see what they're saying on their gauge.
Hours to go. The strange thing is, at the end of these trips, I always wish that it's not going to be over. It's a strange feeling. On the other hand, the mangoes are calling.
Dad, I'm done a surprise.
What's it say? Dear Dad, I wish you fast, happy and safe sailing, especially today with or without the Spinnaker. Crossing oceans or being a weekend warrior. Happy birthday. Lots of love, Aiden.
Oh.
Hey bud, love you.
And that's you.
Yeah, think of that. You're good. Well, for my birthday, I'm giving myself one little treat. This is a dry boat on ocean crossings and any overnighters, but I'm going to have that stalwart of sailors, the gin and tonic. Cheers. Today's our last day on the water. We're 160 nautical miles out from Parahiva, so we should be arriving tomorrow morning. And this morning, the wind's really picked up. It's around 20 knots, and so for the first time in a long time, we've had to reef in. And the sea's picked up. We're getting quite steep waves as well. Hey, la sapa. It's very early in the morning, and yeah, you can see Parahiva in the distance. We're gonna keep the fishing hook, the lure in, because I'm gonna do what everyone else does when they made the whole 3,000 nautical mile trip across, is get a burger.
Last bit of apple. Down the hatch. Watch those mangoes.
Head around the northern end of Parahiva and we're already starting to feel there's a bit of a wind acceleration as the wind curves around the shoreline. Spectacular.
If you like this video, please click like below and subscribe to follow our adventures.